What is up, guys? It's Kyle here from Team Moon. Today we're going to give you a deck profile on my Windwitch Artifact Invoked deck. Now, this deck is one of the top tier decks of the format. It has a really good matchup against Zoo, and its anti-meta playstyle really has a really good matchup against a lot of the decks of the format. It's a really consistent deck. The only times you're over brick is when you open all of your artifact cards and all of your fusion spells, but then nothing else. But that doesn't really happen except for what happened today to me at Locals, and we're not going to talk about that. But I came first place today. We had 5 rounds of Swiss and then Top Cut, and I went pretty much undefeated, and it was a really good run with this deck, and there's not many things I would change about it. So this deck is actually for the March 31st ban list, so you're going to see a couple cards in it that you might say, well, right now they're at 2 or at 3 or whatever, but this is for the new ban list, and I want to get used to it as fast as possible, so I figured why not just start it off as is. So getting right into it, guys, we're going to have the monsters. We have 3 Ice Spell. She's your main combo starter of the deck. She summons your 1-card Crystal Wing that can't be destroyed, so it's pretty ridiculous. 2 Glass Spell. She's your Searcher, and she gets the level 1 Tuner, which you summon that Ice Spell. And then you play your 1 Snowbell. That's your whole Windwitch engine. I was playing 3, 3, and 2, but I found that was a little bit bricky because yes, you can go into 2 Crystal Rings, but you'll never really need to, and if you are, then you probably should be losing the game anyway, if you have to go for that the second time. And it was really bricky just drawing a Snowbell or a Glass Spell in my opening hand with nothing else, so I decided to cut it down to what it is right now, and it's working good for me. Next, you play 3 Alistair. He's your other main card in your deck. He's going to be the main... all your main boss monsters you're going to go into is based around having this guy and having access to him. So he's going to be searching for your invocation and getting out all your fusions, and he's just ridiculous. Next you have the Artifact Engine. You have 2 Scythe and 1 Morale Attack. I was playing 3 Scythe at first, but I found myself opening 3 Scythe. And the instance where you have a bunch of Sanctums down and then you can't activate them doesn't happen pretty much ever, if at worst, it only happens once every 20 or 30 games. So this ratio is really good for me, and I like it a lot. Wouldn't really change it again. Next, for hand traps, you play 2 Ghost Ogre. It's broken in this format. Goes without saying. It's also a light, so you can use it with Invocation to get Merkaba. And you're playing the 1 Maxi, the Lonely Maxi. Now, I would play 2. I was playing 2 before the ban list, but this card is too good not to play. Even at 1, it's a little bit sacky, but you still, when you draw it, you pretty much win the game if you're forcing your opponent out of their first turn. So you have to play it. That's it for the monsters. Next we have spells. You have triple Terraforming. Unfortunately, they're not supers because mine didn't come in the mail yet, but you're going to use this as one of your main ways to get Alistair. So this is running, you're pretty much running 8 copies of Alistair in this deck because you're running 3 of these, 3 Alistair, and then 2 Meltdowns. And all these just pretty much get you 2 Alistair. The reason why I'm running 2 Magical Meltdowns and 3 Terraformings is because a lot of people are either running 3 and 3 or 3 Meltdowns and 2 Terraformings, but that doesn't make sense to me because if you have the 3 Terraformings, you have search more power to get to thin your deck to get the Meltdown. So I'd rather draw the Terraforming instead of the Meltdown because that means I have a dead Terraforming in my deck. Whereas opposed to if I drew the Terraforming, I get to thin my deck that 1 extra card, which actually makes a difference. And it's not super dead in this deck because you can still discard Terraforming with Merkaba, so it's good how it is. Next we have 2 Invocations. Some people play 1, some people play 3. 2 works for me because if you open 1 and then an Alistair, the combo plays are ridiculous. If you guys have been watching my stream, you'd see that time and time again. 2 is good because if the first one gets negated or banished or something, then you have the second one for the out. So you have to run 2 just for safety. Next you're playing 2 Wonder Wands. I'm actually considering bumping this up to 3 because it's pretty much just a pot of greed in this deck because you can still banish Alistair from the graveyard to use your invocation. So this card is just ridiculous. And Star Goblin around it, the spells. And then for the trap cards, you run 3 Sanctums. It's probably your best card and best trap card in your deck. Shuts off your opponent's extra deck, blows up cards, blows up 2 cards. It's always an anti-meta play that you have for your opponent's turn. It's just ridiculous and crazy. Can't play without it. Next you're running 3 D barriers. It goes without saying, this format's crazy, so D barrier is just nuts. Blowout card. You're running 3 strikes. 3 strikes is broken. Strike's one of the best cards in the game. Should have been hidden on the ban list, but it wasn't. So we're playing 3 strikes. Next you're playing 2 stormings. This card's actually really working amazingly for me. A lot of people aren't playing any Mirror Forces in their deck, but like between this and Quaking, I'd say Storming has like a better all-around versatility against a lot of decks. Like Quaking does have the power, but like it's not always the best option. So you could play Quaking instead, and I did think about it, but Storming's working out for me, so I'm gonna keep playing Storming. 2 Call of the Haunteds. Turns out summoning an artifact on your opponent's turn from the grave with Call is broken, and special summoning your Merkaba back after it gets destroyed and stuff is pretty broken. Or going into your Raidens and then using their effects, book something, and then go into Zamayo, and then detach the Raiden, and then get the Raiden back, and then use this effect again. It's pretty broken. So this card has a lot of combo potential, and it's crazy. We're playing 1 Torrential as a tech card, just a board wipe on your opponent's turn. And lastly, we're playing the 1 Solemn Warning. It's at 1, it's broken, play it. Next for the extra deck, you're playing your Crystal Wing. Now you need to play this because this is like your boss monster of your deck. In this deck, it's not just a Crystal Wing. It has all the benefits of Crystal Wing, but it also can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And that's just crazy. They can't Dark Hole it, Regeki, Torrential, Bottomless, nothing. It's crazy. When we're playing 2 7s, we're playing Winter Bell for the burn play and then the turn 1 play. And then for a secondary option, if you draw Ice Bell later game, you can go for a Clear Wing. It doesn't come up often, but it's fine. That's it for the synchros, and we're playing Caliga for fusion because like he's probably the worst one, but it does come up sometimes where you need to just slow down your opponent because you're kind of bricked a little bit. And he's a dark, so you can banish Alistair with it, or just good against any other dark decks really. Kirkitis, he's good. He's pretty much unbeatable. When he's in defense, like you have to do some really suboptimal plays to get around him, so he's just crazy. Purgatria, he's one of the better ones actually, because I don't know how many times I've summoned this against Zoo, and they would just pretty much have to scoop because they can't get around the piercing everything in their defense position and just going off like that, and pretty much facilitating an OTK. You're playing Elysium. It doesn't come up much, but when he does, he's broken. You're playing 2 Magelenica. A lot of people play 1, but Zoo is still one of the better decks of the format, so until it stops being prevalent, we're going to play 2 of these because it does come up quite often. You're playing 2 Merkaba. He's really good. He's like a Ultimate Providence / Solemn Judgment on legs. He's insane in this deck. He's one of the reasons why your opponent will pretty much just scoop against you like turn 2 if they can't really deal with your board. Probably the best one actually though is Raiden, because he is a quick effect Book of Moon on other player's turn. And all he takes, like you get this out turn 1 with your Crystal Wing, and that's a broken board. You set your D barrier, you set your Sanctum, set your warning, set your strike, and your opponent pretty much scoops because they can't get around your board. He is insane. And he combos really well because he's a level 5 for Why Not Barcelona Zamayo. He pops 2 cards on your opponent's field that are face down, so you can use Raiden to book a face down and then overlay into Zamayo, detach the Raiden, and then blow up the monster and a back row, or just 2 back rows or something. It's pretty insane. So that's it for the extra deck, 15. And then we have the side deck. For the side deck, it's going to be a little bit different because it's pretty much just geared towards my locals, and you guys can play whatever you want. But I wouldn't use this exactly for like a YCS or something if you're going... Like a lot of the options do facilitate to counter like the top meta decks, but around locals we don't have every single top meta deck, so there are some cards in here that should be in here that are not, because we simply don't have those decks around here. But you can just pretty much use this as like a baseline. Okay, so starting it off, we have 3 of one of the best cards. You have 3 Denko Sekka, Screw Paleozoics, and he's really good against Chamberlain. So just play that. Paleozoics like the best deck in the format again. 2 lava golems. He gets around problem cards. Doesn't come up super often, but you can use it to fuse for Purgatorio. 2 DD Crow. A lot of decks need their cards in their graveyard, so if you just banish it, they're kind of screwed. 2 Dark Holes for board wipes. It's useful against Zoo and stuff like that, but you don't really need it, but you do set it in if it comes like you feel like you're going to. 2 Forbidden Chalice. I actually thought about main decking this card, but I couldn't really find the room, so I decided to put it into the side deck. This card is absolutely insane. I don't know what over the past couple formats, other than Mermail and stuff like that, it hasn't really been seeing a whole lot of play, but this card is actually insane because it follows. Next, you're playing 2 Chain Disappearance. You're playing these because screw Zoo and screw Paleozoic and all that other stuff, so if you banish all their frogs, you can't do a whole lot. This card is just pretty insane for the format. And lastly, for Blue Eyes Hate, we have Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. You flip this on them, and they have to scoop pretty much because they don't really have an out to it. It shuts down their whole entire deck. It's crazy. And that'll be a 15-card side deck, and that will be it for the deck profile, guys. So that was my Windwitch Artifact Invoked deck on the sexy gem mat with the Zodiac Duelist. I really like this deck. It's probably my second favorite deck. Of course, Chamber being my number 1, as you guys know, if you've seen my channel before. Or if you talk to anybody who knows me, they will tell you that I'm the Chamber legend. But I do know how to play other decks, and this is one of the other decks I do play. If I was going to go to like a YCS or something like that, I'd probably bring this because I feel like it has like that factor of just like anti-meta, and being able to stop your opponent from doing other plays is just ridiculous, and the consistency is way up there, like almost Zoo level consistency. So that's it for the deck profile, guys. If you want to see anything else from me, let me know in the comment section below. I do stream now, so you can go on twitch.tv/moonsgaming if you want to just hang out with me. I'm not putting up donations or anything because I don't really need it from you guys, but I'm not going to like cry for it, but you guys can definitely come along and watch and just hang out. And we'll play a bunch of fun decks for you guys if you want me to. If you guys have any suggestions for this deck or any of my other decks on the channel, you can feel free to comment below. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. It does help me a lot. The more subscribers I get, the more likely I am to post more videos because I do start seeing an audience. Like over the past couple days, the channel actually bumped up like 30 or 40 subs, so it's pretty crazy. Very happy about that. So if you guys want to continue supporting me, that would be awesome. And anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. It's Kyle from Team Moon signing out.